Right, we are at the Glenasca Estate, ready here for the prototype tour. We're supposed our test drive, and I think we're being driven. We're not actually allowed to drive. George, you're certainly not allowed to drive. Is at 5. What time are we now, George? Time check. That's okay. 4:25.
Yeah.
That's not too bad for us, is it, George?
No.
So let's go and see. We've put the suspension up, just because we can really. Can't on the Grenadier, so ayo. Right, let's go and have a look. We got the roof tent on the roof. Let's have a look.
I mean, the question is, are we public enemy number 1 here?
Or are we the long lost brother that they dream of? Let's have a look. Let's come in. Prototype tour. Parking. Here we go. He's got a grin on. How are we doing?
How are you?
Not too bad. Right, we're here. We're all set. We're booked in. We've taken a bit of a flyer, haven't we, George? We've come away with just the watch. So they've made me asked me to park up here. We're going to be camping over there. There's someone with a caravan. So they've actually been top, haven't they, George?
Yeah.
Really welcoming. So we have got our test drive booked now. They've got a prototype we can go and look round, but it's not a sort of drive-in one or something. But all the interior's set up in that, so that'll be good. So let's just have a look then, George. Let's lock the car. Wow, look at that.
The Defender's looking good as well.
He's looking good. He is looking good. Right, let's go and have a look at this Grenadier. Let's go and see if we're allowed to film and what we're doing. But not turned away yet. They're welcoming us with open arms. So come on. Come on. Right, we have had a look around the car, and we're going to go back and they've said we can film around the car. We can't film underneath because they haven't finalised all the underneath yet. But we can go around the whole exterior, and we got loads of questions, didn't we, George? We got loads. But we are now going to go for a drive with a professional driver. Right, so we're going to go, we don't know who our driver is, but this is our car. This is the one we're going in. They're giving it a clean, so we're all antibacterial and everything.
So far, first impressions, it looks good.
It looks good.
The
This one doesn't look, sorry, George. This one doesn't look as low to me. That silver made
No,
it
that
like
looks almost higher.
Yeah. We'll go and have a look at the other one. When I've looked at the pictures, I've not
I think it's quite wide.
seen the Hummer thing. You know, when you look at it, it's like every time you look at it, you see a different vehicle.
Definitely. There's a mixture of cars in here. You've got the G-Wagon, you've got the Defender, now we've got the Hummer.
We've got the Hummer, look.
It's a little bit of everything, but it's nice.
Right, I'm crouching down because the sun's coming over. So this is the Grenadier. This is the interior sample. This is only a prototype, right? So anything I'm going to say may be that Ineos will change it. But we are going to have a look round and make some observations. Some good, some challenging. Right, let's start this front bumper. So the one cool thing they're saying about this front bumper is that this section here is going to be different to this section here. It's different. So if you have a little knock, you're off-roading or doing it, and you knock this, you don't have to change the whole front, or you can just do that. And apparently this section will be available with a winch fitting, which will be really cool. We got the full LED headlights. You got this front bonnet looked a bit, I don't know, I saw Scania truck in it, but I don't know. George isn't sure. Maybe it's that herbal tea they're serving over there, George. I don't know. We'll have a look around. Right then. So you've got a flat windscreen, which is fairly sort of Defender-esque. The wipers, I hope, are better than the old Land Rover wipers. Do you reckon you can steal the bonnet off these? Hopefully they'll fix the hole. You could just undo the bonnet and take it off Defender style. Right, what have we got on here? Now one interesting thing is, they've got another one around somewhere, this dark blue, and it looks totally different to this silver one. When you've got the silver, you've got a real contrast with the way the arch is, and it looks quite slim, because visually you lose the black and you just see this silver. And I think that's why I was looking at it earlier, and I thought this area here looked quite Hummery. They've sort of lowered the waistline, I think, compared to a Defender, this waistline. Anyway, let's talk about the waistline. So you've got this sort of accessory grip here where you can put accessories in, and here. Now these will obviously add for protection as well, so they'll give you some deflection and stuff. That's good. These are quite US style, these sort of Nerf bars, I think they call them in the US. So there we go, we've got mud flaps on the front. That's a good wide mud flap, George. Take a look at that. If they copy that, that goes right. I've not seen a mud flap as wide as that. It goes really deep. We're not supposed to look underneath too much. We were just looking at the mud flap. Right, we've got a raised air intake, so this is good. I'm not sure about the orange indicator, but when I asked them, they said, Well, we've got to leave a few things for the accessory market to change. So I can see an accessory coming for changing it. George, you like this bit here, didn't you, George?
Yeah,
You thought
fake
that?
vents. I mean,
Fake
they're fake, but I think they do look cool and they do add to the bonnet. Make it look a little bit sporty. We also have the
Oh yes,
kind of
I
black
missed
accent
those.
up here, and it says, I don't know if the camera will get it, but powered by BMW.
The
because we have-
Bavarian Motor Works.
Yes, because we have a BMW engine.
Choice of petrol or diesel, both 6-cylinder turbocharged. So engine-wise, I think we're pretty much home and dry. We were just talking about the paint and the silver paint and how it looked quite different. A couple of questions. Now they're aiming this at sort of a utilitarian, sort of more basic than a sort of new Defender, shall we say. And they're cautious whenever I try and compare it to things. Well, we can't compare it to that. And I know what they mean. But I would question, why are you launching a car and a prototype with metallic silver paint? If I scratch this panel and I've got to blend metallic paint, that's going to be a nightmare. Even a man of my painting skills. George knows I'm being sarcastic. So I'd much happier see the whole range just in flat colours. Does it want to be an SUV? Do they want it to be seen in city centres looking all glitzy with metallic paintwork? Oh yeah, it's lush and that, but you know, if they're being true and they're keeping it basic, I'll challenge you, ditch the metallic colours. There you go. Make it easy to repair. Right, mirrors. This is interesting. A lot of these parts are 3D printed, so I'm not criticising that in any way, and I do appreciate Ineos inviting us here as members of the public, as we're invited, to look over the car, and they've let us crawl here, video it, and they've been super good. And a lot of the parts are 3D printed, and that's brilliant. It's allowed us to interact earlier. On my Defender, we have got, and I know I keep comparing it to you, we have got a mirror, we've got a light, we've got a camera under here, we've got an indicator assembly, we've got temperature sensors. If I'm driving off-road and I clobber the mirror on the Defender, I'm in all sorts of poop financially. I think it's really good I would encourage Ineos to take as much technology out of the mirror as you possibly can. And in that regard, I'm keen that they've put the indicator here and we haven't got any in here, and there's no mirror. Still, heated mirrors is cool, auto dimming mirrors is cool, but any electric mirrors are cool. But anything else than that, resist the temptation to put electronics in the mirrors. The raised air intake is interesting. I'm not sure how the mounting is. I think if they were designing the car, you know, and I think a lot of them are going to have the raised air intake, I would be looking at designing it almost into the car. We've got a lot of gaps here. We're going to get wind noise, and washing it is, you know, on the Defender it fits a lot sleeker, almost styled into the car, isn't it, George?
Yeah.
So, and if you're designing it, I don't know. Right, gutter. When I get in it's a bugbear of mine, when I get in my Defender, my new Defender, and I know I'm comparing it to the new, I open the door, the water, there is no gutter, and the water collects in here and it drops straight onto my seat. So I was delighted to see a gutter, and I think it's a manufacturing thing as well. I think there's a steel pressing for the body, and they're spot welded along here. So I think it's a natural thing. But what worries me on this, and I know it's only a prototype, is where is the water going to drain? Because this actually is stepped up here. I'm a bit worried it's a water trap, but I'm getting a bit picky. This is a bit detailing, but I'd like to see a clear place for water to run off. It's a little bugbear of mine. Right, there we go. So we've got that. We've got
the really nice doors with the opening and closing, very satisfying.
Oh yeah, sort of G-Wagon-esque. Shall I try and? Oh, not like that. Oh, there we go. But it's a solid good thud. Right. So there we go. Right, I'm not sure about the gloss black, and they did say they perhaps reconsidered this. This is going to show fingerprints and get scratched, and if you compare it to the door on my Defender, I know I'm doing it again. Bad me. It's actually a lot more rugged on my Defender. In fact, this whole area here is body colour, and I don't.
And there's exposed rivets as well, which gives it quite a.
So to me, you compare this, and I'll put a picture up on the screen. This looks much more luxurious than my Defender, and you know, where are they trying to position themselves? So I think they could have, and we'll have a look in the rest of the cabin, and there's a lot of exposed metal in my Defender, and I like that, and I think it's practical and easy, and it's easy to care for. I think they've put a lot of plastic, and we'll look at that in the back. Right, as we look in the cabin, it's again, we've got this black thing which I think is great as a styling feature, but I think we need to look at a different finish. I'm going to go back to the paint, George, because it's just come into my head. George said, what would be good? Yeah, George is good at this. For a young one, you're good, George, or Into the Sun. George said, wouldn't it be good if they just did it in Raptor paint? Have you seen that Raptor paint? It's brilliant. So, I mean, that would be the ultimate in like ruggedness, you know, and repairness and all that. You know, there's a challenge for you. You do a Raptor edition with that sort of scratchy, you know.
Yeah, the paint's actually rough.
The paint's actually rough. Do it. You know, let's be brave. You know, I think that's really cool. But anyway, we've digressed again because right. You come here, George. Let me. Right then. So this saddle with at first I think a lot of people go, oh, well, I'm not sure about that, and then they explain that it's this saddle leather and it'll wear and it does wear nicely, and they're not wrong in that regard, and they've done it here. But to me, I'm going to be critical. It looks like you've gone down Halfords and bought a steering wheel and handbrake kit, because it's great, yes, you sold me on it, but I think you need to add a few more accents. So maybe even we could cover these bits with leather, or you could put some little tags on the seats with leather, because you've got Recaro. Put a leather tag on here matching the saddle leather with Ineos just embossed in it, where you can emboss it in the leather, or give us some more coordination. Maybe just give us a hand grip wrapped in the saddle leather. I think you just need to throw a few more bits of saddle leather in there.
It does feel a little bit alone and isolated.
It is, and
it almost to the point where it does feel out of place.
Yes, it just looks like it's, Halford Special Edition. So there's something, again, I'm not being critical, because actually I like the idea. You've sold it. It's new, it's innovative, right? Using this saddle leather is good, so I'm not knocking it. I'm just trying to run with it and progress it a bit more. Right, what else, George?
The writing on the infotainment system, as you can see on all the buttons, there is English writing, which isn't going to be great for manufacturing and getting this car in other regions, because not everyone speaks English, and you know, it's naive the right word to say to just put English.
Put English, yeah. I mean, the world is, you know, and they replied and said, well, you know, we could make it different for different regions, but I would challenge that and say, you know, the world is so multicultural, which is beautiful now, that you can't just say one region speaks, you know, one language.
Isn't it easier to not put the English on there?
Yes, just don't do it. You've made a rod for your own back. So let's just take the basic example of a power on switch, right? No one writes power on next to an on off button now, right? You've got that little circular logo. I'll put it on the screen because what I'm doing there is looking weird, George, right? So, yes, right. So just you do a circle with, you know, icons are brilliant. They're, you know, I think icons are brilliant. We use them on our phones. We've got widgets, and I think icons are a beautiful thing because they can clearly say. Now, for some things, you can't always have an icon. I get that, but where we can, let's not. Now, right, so talking about icons and words, now, I mean, to me, the hazard symbol's enough. You don't need to write hazard up there, although I do like the biohazard sort of background. The window heating, yeah, that one. The auto start stop now is a sort of international symbol used across car makers. The park assist, that one, we don't need to write park assist. And do you need to write off? I mean, if it's got a light, what if the light is on, it's off? You know, how does that work? You know, I think sometimes you add more confusion by adding these words. Surely the light should show on is on and off is off.
They could have saved all this money to get a actual custom selector. I'm not a fan of that.
George,
one.
If you've got a BMW or driven one, you'll recognise this straight out. You know, should they have got some of the saddle leather and design something?
Doesn't feel very rugged, or, you know,
it's more executive than rugged.
Exactly.
Audio, they could have a speaker, couldn't they? So yeah, I think there's some things there that they, you know, heat seating. It's obvious that that's a heat seating. To me, save on the words, keep it simple. If it's not necessary, ditch it. Now, the other thing is they've on the roof here. So I like this roof panel. We've still got the lights, which I was keen to see, and they've got a lot of other functions added in. But they've put like differential lock, and I said, well, you're going to be writing perambulator and auto bus. I mean, it's a diff. It's a diff lock. I mean, I think they've overcomplicated it. Keep it sweet. You know, the people that are going to be driving this car are going to know a diff lock. They say, oh, they might not know what a diff lock is. You might have to write differential. I wasn't sold on that one. I had my I'm not believing you face on when they were explaining that to me. But right, let's have a look. I mean, obviously you've got the BMW gear knob. Oh, we also spotted the BMW accelerator pedal. Those of you that have a Range Rover L322 have exactly the same. We sell the covers for these. I'm halfway there with my accessories already. Look, George. Right, that you've got no display. And I saw on some forum or someone said, oh no, you've got to have a miles per hour display in front of you, a speed display. But that's not true because the Tesla hasn't, has it, George?
Yeah,
there is
waffling.
no, they are
And they
waffling.
did actually confirm that the speedo will be on there, which is cool, and we like that. It's on the Tesla.
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't complain about it. It's literally no difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I think these around the hazard buttons. I know they've done it as a design feature, but I'm not sure.
Opposite of the Defender though, where you have hazard buttons out of place.
This, yeah, because the Defender one's like right over here somewhere. But the now you're starting to compare to Defender, George. You're going to get a right. This whole layout reminded me of the back of my amplifier, my 1980s amplifier. They've got all like CD player, auxiliary, and they've drawn all little lines around it. That's what it reminisced me of. Right. Handbrake. I'm not sure about lever handbrake. One thing that I think is brilliant, and it's been a bit of an evolution. We went on the Disco 3s to that horrible handbrake control module in the back that pulled wires. And that was a bit weird because you had a switch driving a motor and a motor pulling wires and cables and moving brake drums. But now they've gone to those motor on the caliper. And one thing we really like, oh no, I'm going to say it again, George. You have to. It'd be like a drinking game every time Simon compares it to a Defender. Take the new ones. When we drive up somewhere with a hill, you're not having to hold it on a hill.
No.
The handbrake just comes. You don't even know it does it. It's absolutely beautiful.
You forget you have a handbrake.
Now, I've got all the gear and no idea. So for a low-skill driver like me, the Defender's brilliant. But also the interior packaging. This takes up a lot of room.
Definitely.
Just have a switch. I think sometimes we need to be careful that our phobia of electronics and overcomplicating things, which I totally understand. I totally understand that. Doesn't drive us too far. We don't want to become some sort of technophobes. I think the brakes, the electronic handbrakes, where you've got the motor on the rear disc, is genius. I think is fantastic. So I would question whether that is a retrograde step, but I know there'll be purists out there that will say, I love cables and pulling on handbrakes, but that's fine. Seats, you know, going with Recaro, one thing Tesla did was he realized his early cars, the seats were not comfortable. And Elon actually sort of commissioned a whole team to make seats, but I don't think there's any need to do that. Recaro are world renowned for making everything from aircraft seats, using their seats, but I would like to see some Ineos branding on there. I think they should be. I think it's fine to have the Recaro, but let's get some Ineos. Non-electric, mechanical, we got no problem with that. I was initially disappointed when my Defender, another drink, didn't have fully electric seats, but actually it's far quicker. You just slide it into position, you get in. When Tyler's been driving it and it's way back there, and when on the motor it's like, right, let's keep going, George. So interior, we like it. We got the hand grips, mirrors. Right, let's move on. Right, so we got all these. See, I was thinking on these we could put a little step or something. So when you want it to get on the roof, that would be good. Now, these to me would be brilliant for Alpine windows. Now I'm not sure why they've gone away from the Alpine windows. I can see here we've got a roof rail, and we can pull up and get a. And we actually got some nice built-in sort of runners on the roof, George, that look quite good. If you want to come up and join me up here. So these will, there we go. And you got this iconic, have you seen this? I don't know if he's done it as like St. George flag on the top, George. Can you see that cross that goes across the top there?
Yeah.
Is that a feature? Who knows? Right, rear doors, we'll have a look inside the rear.
I think the back's pretty simple.
Oh, USB charging point. So in the rear they have got provision there. You can see for a 240 volt power outlet and USB.
Two USB slots and then a 230 volt.
Now I couldn't see anything in the front on first glance. Maybe I missed it.
Well, it might not be there. This is a
prototype.
So.
Yeah. So
The point is, they've thought about USB ports in the back, and I couldn't do it, but the Defender's got it as well.
We got USB-C and stuff. Right. There was no reversing camera, which was one thing that they say they'll add. One thing they asked about was, what do we think about cabin visibility? I think they meant visibility out of the cabin. And I think the rear visibility is going to be limited, and I think you really do need, for safety and connecting to trailers and parking in confined spaces, you do need that. Right, let's get, oh no, they're not going to start the disc, are they? We got the, right, they got the rear light, they've got some, they've got a lockable thing. One thing, if you're going to have a spare wheel on the outside of the vehicle, that's great, because you haven't got to get inside and get all your luggage out. But please, I beg you, make the tools available, because otherwise, if you've got to get your tools out of the boot, it's going to be a real pain. They're testing on the microphone now. Hopefully we can get this video.
Should be able to hear it.
Okay, right. Right, let's open up the rear. They put in the, oh, we're in.
Oh.
So you are, that's annoying, George, because to get something in, you've got to open 2 doors. Would it be better to have the bigger door opening, which is heavier? Because what are you ever going to use that
How
for?
do you open this one? Is it this little handle there?
Yes.
There you go. And again, on this one, classic problem. There's no even hydraulics on here, because on the FJ Cruiser, we have the lovely system we love. It's a hydraulic bar. You can twist it, and it'll lock this door in place at any angle.
So when you're off-road, good point, George. When you're off-road and you're at an angle like this door, because I've had it where I've been off-road, I need to get out and cut a tree down, and I've got my tools in the back, and I'm trying to get my tools out, and the door is just crushing me like this, which is a real pain. I don't like this. This is the prototype, but there's a lot of stuff hitting out here that's going to get damaged. Here, they've covered all this in plastic.
Yeah, I think it can really be seen here.
Yeah,
So much
plastic. There's no need for it.
Insane.
It's a utility vehicle. Let's have some exposed metal. So that's a challenge. We've got it'd be nice to have a bit of a step on this. We've got a little bit of an area, but let's have some bigger, chunkier steps where we can get our feet, and I'm going to climb on there, and we can get up on the roof and do stuff. So it's fine, the rear bumper. I like the sturdy look. I like the reflectors. But we have got a problem, haven't we, George? George, if you just slide back there, right, if we've broken down, we can't see the lights. Look, and they've done what they've done on, another drink, on the Defender. So please, if you care about your customers, put an indicator in here so that when the doors are open, that it can still be seen, something that can be seen further back.
While we're down here, one thing we do have to give credit to, these.
Built in, welded to the chassis. We've got the removable ones on the Defender, but they're much better. We've got a good departure angle. You can see they've shaved everything off here, which is good. Right, it's the next day. So the party started kicking off, and it was a great party, and thanks to the guys at Ineos for that. It was really good. We had music and a free bar and food, and it was all good, wasn't it, George?
Free stuff.
Free stuff. And look, free stuff, free t-shirt. Look. They branded it for me.
Give us a spin.
Look at that.
Yeah. Right, anyway, enough of that nonsense. Right, so I don't know where we got to yesterday, but we're just looking at the boot floor and the fact that I'm concerned that you're not going to have a flat load bay because of this. Now, this is a prototype, so we'll see what happens. And the other thing I've noticed is in the back here, there's no natural place for a parcel shelf. Now, one cool thing they have got, and I have thought of, is they have got these load support retainers here, which is going to stop any tools in your back if you're using it as a workhorse in a sudden stop or anything going forward. Having those is really good. Now, another thing we talked about when we were looking at the front in the overhead console panel, they've pre-built in a lot of switches for accessories. So, and when I'm thinking accessories, I'm thinking rear work light, front light bar, stuff like that. So I was asking them, okay, so that's the front end of the switch. Where does it? And they said, and they made a big thing about you won't have to take your headlining out because it's going to rattle. So I was like, well, where's the other end of that come out? And the answer is they haven't quite yet worked it out. So we'll challenge Ineos. I reckon someone might watch this video. Think about getting to a rear work light or getting to the back. Now, obviously, if you put it in here, you're halfway there, but a waterproof connector on the exterior somewhere, and there was even talk that this might be something. But another thing we have spotted, and we'll go and have a look at a minute, is one thing. We've been camping overnight in our Defender, as you know, and George's phone ran out of charge, which apparently is a teenage thing, apparently.
I did bring a portable charger with me,
It
don't
did-
worry.
it-
It wasn't a disaster.
But we said, wouldn't it be cool if there was a live? Because our Defender has a million USB ports, which is brilliant, isn't it,
Like
George?
it's
But
20.
they're only any good if you're driving, which if you're parked up on a campsite is not that good. So is there any live? Now the trouble is if you have a live USB port, you're in danger of flattening your battery. Now what I didn't want to do was flatten my battery on the Ineos event on my new Defender, because that wasn't going to look good. So we've wired in a second battery, but the USB connector I ordered didn't arrive in time. So back to the Ineos, if they could have a second battery, I was saying, wouldn't it be cool if they had a second battery so that you could, when you're parked up, when you're doing something, charge your phone, charge whatever, and not worry about, I'm going to flatten the battery. Now, there is, and we'll have to have a look, there's people around there, there's a secret, they've got a little plan, and it's not confirmed, but it looks like they may be the first manufacturer to think about putting, someone's going to say, no, the 1948, but it looks like they're going to have a second battery, which is certainly new for Defender and not on the new Defender. So I think that would be cool. Right, let's keep looking around. Galvanized chassis. So we were saying, you know, wouldn't it be cool if the galvanized chassis, and if you look underneath, which they're not too keen on us doing on this one because it's a prototype, is glossy black. And they said, don't be misled, Simon, you fool. They said, actually, it's galvanized and then painted over. So, which is really good. And it's good for welding and getting under your car, welding it when you've owned it for 5 years or 10 years is no fun. And we're talking to some people last night, and they've got a boat, and they reversed the boat into the water, and their old Defender, they put a new half rear chassis on it, it rusted out. So galvanized chassis, thumbs up. And also, when we look at sustainability, when you build a vehicle, there's lots of resources, environmental resources, and I know it's four-wheel drive and I know it's not electric, but if we can make vehicles that don't have inbuilt obsolescence, that can last for 20 years, there's a real environmental benefit to that. So if they can make this car so it doesn't rust, I think that is a real eco, although fringe eco, I think it's an important point that we need to consider. Right, let's keep going on. We're looking at the rear lights this morning. We're talking with the guys from Ineos have been really good and really open and talking loads to us. And he was saying how much he liked the rear lights. And
Diamond encrusted.
yes, I said how very blingy and sort of Del Monte, Schwarzkopf crystal rear lights. I thought, yes, you're right. That would look quite at home in Chelsea High Street. Which I don't know is the look they're going for. It's one of those mixed metaphors. They play with your mind, these guys at Ineos. You think, it's utilitarian, it's tough. And then they go and fit Del Monte diamond encrusted rear lights with the most metallic, glitzy paint I've ever seen. And you're thinking, well,
but we do have to say credit to the paintwork, because
it is
a
mint.
brilliant job.
But it is the most sparkle. I mean, Barbie herself would be impressed with such glitzy paintwork, and Del Monte. But is this utility? They're still playing with my mind, these guys.
Change.
Subject, yes, it might not be yes, so everything, yes. So they are listening to us. So let's have a look. Let's go inside again and have a look. So these rear seats here lift up, and we got all sorts of trickery under here. But under this one here, there is a second battery. So this is the second battery, and there's talk that it's not all decided yet. But is that going to be a cubby box there? Or is it going to have the option of a pre-wired second battery, which would save me a day's work wiring in a second battery? Right, magnet. Always, I took this to the motor show when they launched the Defender, and that was. So I'm having a look if anything is. Obviously, this is plastic. This is. We got some steel going on here, plastic. Because one people said the new Defender. I know. It's another. Someone's taking another shot, aren't they? Right. Some people are saying, it's all plastic, but look, we've got some plastic here now. They're keen to say that obviously this panel is always going to be plastic because of the shape, but the materials used on this might not be fine. But let's just have a look where they are. So we got steel here, some aluminium, steel here, right? Aluminium door panel. The grass is not magnetic. Roof is steel. Yeah, the main. So it looks like the main structure, the main it's not monocoque, but the main body shell is going to be. Yeah, the doors look like they're aluminium. Wings aluminium. Yeah, so there we go. So it looks like material choice is going to be interesting. Right, where's the sun, George? So one thing that's interesting, and I've been talking about, is sales and support. So it's a new car brand. What service dealer network? And there's talk they might use BMW. But I was thinking last night, I'm thinking for the Tesla, which has gone wrong, our Tesla, they've got this Ranger service, and it's actually brilliant. So they've got a Tesla that comes out to you with a guy that's just used to fixing the problem, sorting it out, giving you training, giving support. He comes to your workplace, he comes to your home, and it's really good, and he knows all the problems. And in a way, it's sort in a dealership, you've got people who are doing just routine servicing, cleaning, some people are fixing. But to have a guy who's just a team of guys who are based regionally, who are just troubleshooters, would be brilliant. And the other thing is, if they turned up in an Ineos, if you lived in a farm or in a remote place, they'd be able to get to you no problem at all. And also, this was a little interesting thought, if you got there and your back light had a water leak, just say, and was half full of water, they could say, well, look, you have the one off our car. Because in a way, I know this doesn't work. They can't take their engine out, or they can't take their like ECU out for the engine and swap it over, because they wouldn't be able to drive. But at least if you had the car and there was some niggling faults, like the rear brake light had broken or something, they could swap bits over. So I think the Ranger service, and again, they're not saying anything about it, but as, again, someone from Ineos may watch this, challenge you guys, consider the Ranger service is something from Tesla that I rate alongside some other dealer network or whatever. And following on from that, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to need to or want to fix or modify their vehicles themselves. They might need to add side panels for their business or their rescue, or put boats on the top for their mountain rescue team or whatever. And it would be good to know how to take this panel off, how to do stuff. And on Land Rover, all the information's there, but I have to pay to access it, which I do. And then I'm not allowed to share it with you because they own the copyright. So I can put limited stuff online when I'm doing my videos. Now, a challenge for Ineos is sell the car, make your money off the car, give the information away for free. How to service your car, how to remove the doors, how to remove the bonnet, how to wire in an auxiliary. Make YouTube videos, make the instructions, make it so everyone, don't make it a mystery.
Yeah.
Publish it out there for everyone. And the other thing I was thinking, and they said, yeah, and we'll make paper copies available. And I was like, no, don't say that. Everyone's got a mobile phone. You can be in Africa, India, wherever. Make a website with everything on it. I think that you should view this car as phone compatible. And on your phone, you should have the user manual, you should have the instructions how to do stuff. You could have barcodes etched into stuff where you scan the barcode and it tells you how to fit that accessory or do something. So I think, Grenadier and Ineos, they're sort of almost a bit technophobic. They keep saying, oh, we're trying to keep it, we're trying to avoid unnecessary technology. And I understand the sentiment, and a lot of you guys will go, yeah, we like that. But you have to be careful that you don't use appropriate technology and reliable technology. Use your phone, make as much integrated and as much support available on a mobile phone to support and enjoy your vehicle. Right, there was another thing George said to mention. Pickup. So, is the Ineos a one-trick pony? Is it just going to be this vehicle? And no, they're quite adamant that there are plans afoot for a pickup variant, and that goes sort of hand in hand with their utilitarian. Although it's going to be a hard sell, isn't it? Trying to sell one of these for a chunk more than a similar. But a lot of pickup trucks are leaf sprung, and this does handle much better than a pickup truck. The road handling capability is much better, but that is good to see. Whether we're going to have a two, you can see it quite easily, and I think they'll go along the same rows as the old Defender, where you'll have, king cabs, single cabs, double cabs, and that'll be quite cool to see. And I guess the back door design, if you think about it, George, have they been quite clever? Have they made it where you've got the two sides and you can almost see here on this full width? Now, yesterday we did sort of have a bit of a negative thought about this rear door, but I talked to the guys this morning, and they've worked their magic and they've sold it to me, haven't they? Yeah. Because I said, well, that's kind of like a rubbish door, but there are some advantages, so I'm going to set the record straight. So if you're parked up close against the wall or something, or in the back of your garage, This is a very small door to open, so it's actually really convenient because the width it takes up if you get side on is barely comes past this. So, and it is good. And if you've got a jockey wheel or a trailer, you often can't open and close the door because this distance where the door opens is very close. So it does allow you to get your ratchet straps and do whatever, throw stuff in the back, and you can get in. But I am slim, George. When they bolted it on, they've dropped a nut inside the ladder. If you have a listen when you close. I know it's a prototype. Can you hear that, George?
I don't know if the mic.
Oh, the microphone. Hold on, I'll put the mic next. Yeah, they've dropped a nut. There you go. Oh no, I hope some guy at Ineos prototype team hasn't lost his job over that. But yeah, there's a job for the apprentice. Get the nut out that's stuck in the rear ladder. Right. Anyway, right. Let's think up some more questions. Right, Easter eggs. One thing I love about Jeep, and there's loads of things I love about Jeep. Actually, I'm a bit of fickle. I don't particularly Land Rover, Jeep. I just love any company that does cool stuff. And one cool thing that Jeep does, and George loves this as well, is they put Easter eggs all over the car. So, for example, where you've got this black background, they've got a little Jeep driving up, or on the other corner, they've got a little cactus. And then when you open the door, in this what would otherwise be plain moulding, they'll have a little spanner or something, or a little, or they'll have a little since whatever when Jeep was established.
Yeah,
and
it's just a cool feature to show that they're not too serious and corporate, because I mean it's an off-roading vehicle. You're not going to be exactly in the city in a suit or smart.
And again, I know there's some, yeah, well, this could go to utility companies and the Red Cross, but I think they're not in your face. They're just little nuggets for the enthusiast to
They
go.
make you smile.
They make you smart, and having a car, life's about getting places, but we all like to have a bit of a laugh now and again, a little bit of a smile, and just knows there's some humanity in there somewhere. And I think it helps you connect with not only the car, but it helps you connect with the car brand. So Easter eggs, we need some more of those. All right, and there's my little joke. So the designer of this Ineos shape is a guy who's a boat super yacht designer, I think is his background. So I asked them, I said, so it's designed by a yacht engineer, does it handle like a boat? Of course, we know it doesn't, but there you go, that was just my little, but you see the guys in go, and they go, and they realise you're pulling their leg. So there we go. Right, let's have a look. Right, so it's been a bit of a hectic video. We filmed it over 2 days when we can get close to the car and when the music's not playing. So let's do a wrap up. So, a Defender inspired, very capable, robust, four-wheel drive that's kept pretty much to the basics. They have had to include technology. It does have ECUs. It is way more complex than the old Defender, but it's certainly a lot less complex than the new Defender. Right, do we love it? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do love it. And do we love our new Defender? Yeah. Now, in a world that, for me, I really want Ineos to succeed, not only with this car, with the pickup, with other cars, because it gives us all choice. It gives you choice, and we all use our cars differently. We all want different things out of life. And it's all about choice and competition, and I think that's brilliant. So I would encourage anyone. So what's the next stage? I believe in October you can put the full details are going to be launched, and you can put your name down and you can put a deposit down, a returnable deposit. And we're considering doing that. George said I ought to put, if this video gets
100,000
subscribers, you think,
10,000 likes,
but we've got to convince the boss on that one.
100,000 subscribers and like the video, so you know what to do.
So there we go. Right, now I've been slightly critical. I've picked holes in it, and that's kind of what I do, right? And hopefully that will challenge Ineos and give them some ideas and things to think about things that they could change or look at or improve or ignore. But yeah, also do let us know which of my comments are just total waffle. Where have I got the wrong angle? Where does some of my points resonate with you? Let us know, and good luck. And it would be very rude of me not to say thank you to Ineos. Ineos invited me here. I've got a small YouTube channel, but they have not treated me any different to everybody else here. And thank you to the guys here, other Ineos potential customers that we've talked to. It's been a really good day out. The weather's been brilliant. How they arranged that in Wales, I've got no idea.
Yeah, you don't see this in Wales much.
Every single, and I used to live in Wales, so I can say that. Everyone here from the staff welcoming us have been absolutely brilliant. I've turned up in my Defender. They've all seen the funny side of that. They've all welcomed that. They've had a look around our car. So the catering, shout out to the catering guys. The catering's been fantastic. The entertainment's been fantastic. They have done a really good show, all for free, and just for me as a member of the public, really big thanks for that. That's been a great weekend away. Right, we're just leaving to go home, and look, we've got emergency braking not available, steering assistance not available. Press OK to clear. Oh, I got all sorts of dynamic stability control not available. Let's try to, should we turn it on and off again, Joy?
Yeah, the classic trick.
Here we go. Should we, oh look, Ineos has come to taunt us. He's laughing at us.
They do absolutely fly down here.
Yeah.
Right.
Tyre pressure monitor set for light load. Go on, clear the fault. Airbag's gone. What we still haven't got. Steering assistance not available. It's not up with something. The camera's not blocked, is it? Watch the windscreen. Anyway, we'll drive and stop again. We'll see what's happening.
Land Rovers don't help themselves, do they? When looking at a new competitor.
Don't. Maybe it's jealous. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's like when you've been looking at the Ineos. Don't you love me? I feel. Here's the thing. They do get emotional sometimes, don't they? Oh, that's the sat nav recording.
You can have your key back, by the way, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, the watch has worked.
It has.
So we did.
It is a bit shit, but it works.
It's not. No, I disagree, George. I like that. I don't wear another watch, so I'm quite happy to wear the single watch. But there, that has unlocked us, locked us. That's been great, and I didn't bring my keys, so I've trusted in you, Land Rover.
Although it's messed up now.
It's messed up now. Let me drive it a bit and then stop again. Oh, there we go. That's a bit of a.
Off we go.
Off we go. Unless the battery's got a bit flat. Interestingly, that's cleared some faults now. Let's have a look. Normal height selected. Let's turn it off again. Open the door. That's a good one. That raise a unit.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Set for light. Come on, clear. Yes.
And that's cleared it.
That's cleared it.
Oh my god.
So I don't know was it because we'd have the back down because we've been camping I think it was just jealous. Right, let's drive on. I did originally put the test drive at the end of the video, but out of courtesy I let Ineos have a look at the video, and they've said that they're happy with all the video and that, but they weren't too happy with the end bit of the video, which was my actual test drive and video and a test drive. Now, be aware that they were aware that we did have a YouTube channel, and be aware that they knew we were filming, and we asked if we could film, and they even had a phone holder on the dashboard so people could mount their phone in. They have said they would rather we didn't show the prototype actual drive footage. Now we could guess why that could be. Now I do like to be fair and honest, as you guys know, and there were a couple of issues on the prototype test drive. Now we're all aware it is a prototype, we're all aware that it is a prototype test drive, and there were some issues. I guess there sounded like there was some squealing noise coming off one of the rear brakes to me. They did also have some warning lights coming on, and it did also need to be restarted at one point. So it is a prototype. Those things were not totally unexpected. Indeed, as you'll see in the video, my Defender comes up with some error messages, and that's a production vehicle. But they've asked politely if I could not, and they've said that we will get another more in-depth chance to look at the vehicle. So not wanting to upset them, I've thought that's it. But it's a balance between telling what happened and also not trying to create beef or trouble with anything. So that's where we are. So there is no test drive footage. That's why there's no test drive footage. So it's just the commentary on the design, critique and stuff for now.